that, boys, it's going to be tough to look at myself, let alone expect you to look at me. It's been a day and a half of travel, just rolling off of it. Got to get this done just before kickoff. I've already missed a couple games. I'm back in Canada. Hopefully you can still hear me. Let's just cut to it. I'm not doing some NFL stuff. I usually don't in the playoffs. I'll talk about last week's 2 matchups. Then we'll just look ahead. Should be a short one. Gotta be, because you can't look like this and be on YouTube. So this is one of those weeks where I can't even be mad for Jake for what he did, because I don't know if people were watching or caught this. I honest to God don't know what happened. In every capacity, I had some running back choices to make. But McCaffrey being in there was choice number 1 over Hampton. I would have bet anything that I did that. And then I looked after kickoff and turns out I did not. Had McCaffrey gone off for like 40 points, I would have been as mad as starting the Dolphins instead of the Ravens. And that would have been, oh my God, I blew it. So this is one of the rare weeks where, not even unironically, I mean, I'm totally fine with what I had. The RB1 performance. I had a good defense that I put on the bench. My kicker was fine. Great. Jake, thank you for taking care of business, because if it was all my fault for not doing that, I would have kicked myself in the nards. Now, weirdly enough, Allen did fine and had a great performance, as he does. Not the ones that put him on the register, though. Tyrone Tracy with an RB6 performance was low-key pretty huge. Jake also had a good wide receiver crew. Williams was 3. Now, unfortunately, the other one was Sutton, who was on his bench. Defense put himself just outside. I think it was the defense 5. Kicker was the kicker 2. So you add up all the intangibles and you get the top scorer of the week. You get Jake, who's moving on to the semis, and me, who is just trying to figure out how do I make a series of videos and yet don't put Christian McCaffrey in my playoff roster. What ended up being right down to the wire. You love the playoff matchups that end up doing this. Now, on Ben's side, he did have a good quarterback performance. Sorry, Ben, but it was on your bench. Would have made a big difference. The other choices you made were quite, all were great. Benching some good defenses for Eagles, who was the defense 3. So I'm not just here to make fun of you. Unfortunately, though, in big weeks, you hear me say it a ton. You need your big guys to show up. Puka Nacua did. Gibbs just didn't. Flip the coin. You got Chaz with the QB 4 performance. You got the running back 4 performance. Super poor on the wide receiver. He must have been really nervous because he started 3 of them, 4 if you count as tight end, and none of them did any good. But there's their Bears having a monster defensive performance. He had to have loved that. As a Browns fan, don't hate it, because honestly, we could use the picks. I don't know if you see your team, but this was a fairly back and forth for those who were watching. You knew it did come down to a couple of the matchups at the end. Chaz has had one of those seasons where there was times when I even said almost written off. He's been pretty much playing in the playoffs for the last few weeks, so it's been win or die. That attitude apparently was enough to get him over our number 3 seed. So Chaz is moving on to the semis. Ben's got to play me in a game that we all have to pretend we care about, but really it's just for Yahoo seedings, which actually I do care about. Let's look quickly at the basement. The consolation rounds is still around, and Horst will tell you that because he was the number 1 scorer last week. So had he made the playoffs, you didn't want to bump into Horst. This week, it's going to be hard to get that momentum back up when his kicker underperforms. I'm going to just act like I'm pretending that the scores aren't already up there, and we already know that Jacobs crapped on the bed. This one could be interesting, though. I mean, Lawrence was the QB1 last week. Nico had a monster run. In fact, Jacksonville, everything was great. But against Denver, I don't know if I can expect the same thing to happen. You had DJ Moore on your bench. I mean, we're playing here for pride, but we all have it. So let's see how this one turns out. On the flip side, there's nothing worse. Justin, you were just outside of the playoffs, the 1-game finish off. Let's see if you can bounce back, or let's see if B can have pride of the former ISB math middle schoolers and not want to finish 10th in this league. I do still think we got to talk about that because, man, you left Devontae Adams in. You're acting like you don't even care. Your quarterback got knocked out. It's like the Dumb and Dumber scene. Justin, your heads are falling off. Just put it together. After just saying I cared about this, maybe I don't care because Puka Nacua just took it to me. But hey, you know what? Maybe I can have a phenomenal performance. I mean, I put McCaffrey in this week, so I got that going for me. We got 2 good quarterbacks. Who knows? Looks like I'm going to have to score $150 though, so Good on you, Ben. I do kind of wish I would have gotten to this a couple days sooner, because now it's going to be really tough not to scroll down and just look at what has already happened. Deebo Samuel obviously underperforming. I'm not just going to list. I'm just going to talk more about the stuff I would have normally said. And I would say again here, now obviously Pitts had a monster performance last week. To expect it again would be odd. We got a couple of giants in the flexes. Realistically, I think this matchup is really going to come down to, you need to have one or two guys pop off. So who are going to be those guys? In this case, it wouldn't shock me if it was a receiver. I mean, Henry still got it in him. It's not like New England's defense is that dominant. Chase, I don't know against Miami, could go back to it. I mean, you got to look at Pickens, had a massively underperformance last week that didn't really tend to bother Jake. And I mean, Josh Allen's going to be Josh Allen. So I could see this one being right around their predicteds. I could see this being one that comes down to who has the guy that has the week. Again, I wish I would have gotten this sooner, because look at those predicteds. We're going to be super close. And then, yeah, Stafford has to go ahead and have a monster game. So good for him, I guess. Although let's only a couple of people are down. We got some explosive running back talent. Goff has put up big numbers, and anyone who can throw the ball seems to do it against Pittsburgh. So I don't think this one is going to play to predicteds. It wouldn't surprise me if both people are way over. And I'm not just saying that because Waylon already is looking like he definitely will be. Look, when you're the number one seed, you got to protect it. Chaz is the hottest team in the league right now, but Waylon's still number one for a reason. Let's see how this turns out. Fat Boys heading into week 16. This is why some of us chose some of the matchups we wanted early on, and some of us just lucked into it. Either way, good to pay attention to your matchup, good to play for pride, but right now we're really focusing on our top four semifinals. Best of luck, everyone.